It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A fine Saturday matinee to you both, Steve, Andy.
Hey! I was trying something new.
Yeah,
I was trying not to offend anybody in the world this morning.
Just, hey!
That's a universal sign of happy mornings.
It's a good thing Andy doesn't host like a TV show. It's just
a good thing.
I can see you on the morning news just like, hey, Phoenix!
Don't give the guy a green screen.
Better.
That's right. I like morning talk show host Andy. He's delightful.
Oh, so funny.
It's been a heck of a week. Chance, how's your movie lives?
Over on I think it's funny, over on our Discord channels, we saw that Ray, one of our listeners, had watched the 1940 Gaslight and in preparation for the Q-Core 1944 version. And it looks like you and I have both now watched that 1940 version, Pete. So
as of 10 minutes ago, I just finished it.
I watched it last night, so we're not too far apart.
Yeah,
but yeah.
This,
all right. So Ray is the new Patient Zero. I'll hand that off to him.
I'm seeing that Patient Zero, the title Patient Zero, it's more of a crown that gets passed from week to week. I think that's definitely earned Patient Zero this week. This is going to be an interesting week. It causes me great anxiety to watch these movies. The Gaslight movie. Great anxiety, but super fun to revisit the Gaslight cinematic universe.
So I need to catch up on this. So you guys saw the 1940, that's on Amazon Prime?
It is, yeah.
You guys watched it? And then I see the 1944 is available on the Criterion channel. So I got some...
I think that one, that one might be on Prime too. But either way, you're fine checking that out.
Yeah. I know, but I gotta finish with my Film Board catch up first too.
I had a good week with that too.
Ray pointed out to me that the Criterion channel actually has a whole... I don't know what it's...
Film Board? They have a whole Film Board section?
the TNR Film Board section over in the Criterion channel. No, but they have a series collected under a channel or a sub-channel. I don't know what it's called, but it's called George Cukor's Women. So you can likely find it playing there. So...
Yeah, they do little groupings of things sort of thematically. Yeah. Occasionally. It's kind of fun over there.
So what did you catch up on this week, Steve, getting ready for... the Film Board rewatch?
Happy time.
Me too.
Disaster. Yes.
That must have been really satisfying for you to watch on the heels of watching Detective Pikachu.
Well,
what a double feature for Steve.
Again, let's do a noir type detective story, but go to the opposite end of the spectrum of kids' entertainment and still fail to do things well. Yes.
It's been a torturous week for you.
Oh. Yeah, well, I figured it made sense to watch those sort of near each other and just get it out of the way. And I figured I can only go up from there.
Child 44 has to be better than those.
But see, I was going to do that, but that's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I had no idea.
That's nothing.
It's nothing. But the cast, oh my gosh, the cast in that. How can that movie be bad? And I will find out.
You will. Yes, indeed.
And
then I did my John Wick.
Oh, yeah.
Getting ready for number 3.
Number 3.
So I watched the first one last night. Going to do number 2 today, and then 3 either later today or tomorrow. And man, that John Wick, that first one, this is, I think, the 4th time I've watched it. It still holds up.
Yeah,
it is still so solid.
Exceptional.
Oh my
gosh. I'm torn if I want to go jump into the third one fresh, or if I want to go back and rewatch 1 and 2 just to kind of get everything back on make sure my head's in the right space for it.
Oh, you got to watch. You have to watch them both.
I have it first. Yeah, I have a tip for you because my brother watched it yesterday. And he said I should have rewatched them because 3 references the earlier films a bit.
But see, you guys, I mean, you
Something to
don't.
consider.
This is, remember, our standing situational rule, the John Wick rule, is that these movies are not three different movies. It's really just one movie. It doesn't matter how many they continue to add. It's always just one movie. You have to start at the beginning and watch it all the way through. As long as it takes, you must commit to the entire experience.
Don't you feel like always bad for the last part, though? Because like I did that with Harry Potter when those movies would come out. I'd go back and rewatch, or when the books, I'd reread all the books. And it's like, okay, so the first book I read like 7 times. The second one, 6 times. By the time I got to the 7th book, I read it once.
Right.
I feel like the later ones always get neglected. And same thing with, the John Wicks, the Return of the Kings, the End Games. They're always the last one. And
a couple of times a year, you should probably just watch them in reverse.
Or no, I'll start last and read it once, and then I'll read it again in the second to last.
That's a good idea. Yeah, no, you're going to be busy. You're never going to have time for John Wick. You'll be too busy reading Harry Potter backwards. I caught Happy Time
I've got
Murders.
a new plan for my life.
That's right. I caught Happy Time Murders, and for me, it's an interesting thing, this whole Flickchart re-ranking endeavor, because the movies I didn't see when we talked about them was because I wasn't on the show largely, but I then edited the show, and so I already I felt like I'd seen them and knew them quite thoroughly before I walked in. So Happy Time Murders, knew what I was going to get. I think I am a sucker for puppet swearing, and so that movie didn't offend me as much as I think the rest of you. It still didn't do great, particularly on Flickchart. Like, it was easy not to pick it, but I laughed much more, I think, than you guys did. So what are you going to do? And The Dark Tower, I finally caught. And as somebody who really did not like the book, the first book, I quite enjoyed the movie. Like, I had a much better time than I expected watching the movie. So these were both actually not disappointing catch-up films for me. So I only have so I think I might be actually caught up at this point. I need to go back and look at my list. But I did catch up with Black Klansman again. I had somebody over who hadn't seen it, and I got very excited to watch that movie again. And that is better this time than it was last time. Man, that was a fantastic movie. I love that movie so much.
Spike Lee's best one.
So it really, really is.
Do you have a different relationship with that film than people that did not grow up in Colorado Springs? Do you reflect on that at all? Of this was going on around the time? Were you living in that around there at that time? That those events were
we got
taking
there
place?
shortly after, because I remember you'll remember my extensive backstory, Steve. We were kids. We were kids. My parents and we were all kids. I was a little kid, like kindergarten, when we moved there, and it was in because this took place in 70. What was it? 76, something like that. And I got there, I think, somewhere in like 79. So it was still very resonant. And because my dad was in the news business, shout out KRDO, KKTV, TV stations there, like I grew up deeply invested in the story of David Duke. Like, he came back around and again and again and again through my childhood. So, I only insofar as I know the story of what happened at that time. But, Colorado Springs is just like any other town trying to come to terms with its racist history, across the West. Everybody has a
Portland.
closet.
Yeah, you're just drawn to those places.
It's weird, right?
Portland's got a history
Portland
like that too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dark history. It's not great, you guys. It's not great.
The seedy underbelly.
We don't like to talk about it. So anyhow, that's my big week, and it was, I don't know how I did it. I feel like I had to conjure the Andy Nelson movie. What is it? The Blot Nelson Zone. Somehow managed to get through 5 movies this week, and I had a huge production project. And I'm trying to be better. You guys are such aspirational. Well, not you so much, Steve, but Andy and Ben and you're writing all these reviews on Letterboxd, and I looked at my catalog, and there are movies that I'm so behind on even just acknowledging I've seen movies on Letterboxd that, and so I'm trying to go back and fill in these holes with little reviews. It's really fun once I have some momentum to it, but God, it's hard to do.
Yeah, every post that the Next Reel does on Letterboxd for every show we talk about includes a link to your review.
I know, Andy. It's terrible. I'm trying to fill in all of those holes.
Links. So sad.
Some of them go to pages or the movies that indicate I've never seen the movie that we talked about on the show. So I'm trying to fill that in. I swear. Anyhow, that's all. That's enough about me. What else do you guys have? What is it? Do we have any? Should we talk about Marvel? Is there Marvel news? Please tell me there's Marvel news.
I feel like there's always Marvel news. It has been a fun week now that, Disney's, I don't even know if, what do you call it? A policy, a requested suggestion of no spoilers for 2 weeks, whatever that thing was that they had where don't say anything about the movie. All of a sudden that lifted, and it has been fun looking at all of the actors' tweets and Instagram posts about all of the illegal photos and videos that they took from set just to see all the fun behind the scenes that they're having, and some great moments too. It's kind of cool to see those moments raw. I like it.
I haven't seen any of them. That's the kind. I've been too busy watching puppet swearing movies.
Too much time in the Happy Time Murders universe. Oh, lucky you. Lucky you. But yeah, I think Gwen Stacy though is getting her solo series, so that's exciting. A little more Ghost Spider, so should be cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Wait, is this going to be? Is it an animated thing from Sony? What's the news there?
I don't think so. I think I don't know. I want to say it's just a comic series that they're doing, but honestly, I'm not quite sure.
Oh,
what it's going to be? Yeah, I think it's a new comic series. So
okay,
yeah, but it'll be a fun one to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's certainly gained a lot more fans after the Spider-Verse movie came out. So,
and they still haven't released any updates until after Spider-Man on what Phase 4 is. The Phase 4 clock.
I've heard nothing.
Right?
Yeah, I've heard nothing.
Aren't they launching Phase 7 with New Mutants? Because isn't that just getting kicked down the road?
Something like that.
Well, that's got an official release date, he says in heavy air quotes.
Is it its 5th official release date?
That's right.
I think so. Yeah.
Dropping Marvel for a minute, I have to say the most exciting superhero news of the week is watching the new Batwoman trailer. Did you guys watch that?
I haven't seen it yet.
For the CW?
No,
it looks just awesome. And I'm like, she deserves her own movie. It just looks so cool. And I am just horribly behind on all of the CW DC properties. But just watching this, I'm like, I have to jump in and start watching these because it looks so good.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I saw that was coming, and that's absolutely. It's going to be fantastic, especially because what's her name? She was she was in Pitch Perfect 3 as the evil band leader.
Oh, Ruby Rose. She's also in John. She's also in John.
She's
Wick
everywhere
2.
all of a sudden. That's right. She's in John Wick 2.
Yeah,
she is amazing. And as soon as the news hit that she was going to be playing Batwoman, I got very excited about it. I just, again, swearing puppets. I haven't had time to catch up on all that. That's it. You talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go watch it right
now. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So that's exciting. That's some more exciting comic news. What else? I feel like it's been a sad week with deaths and everything. Tim Conway.
Yes.
That one just broke my heart. And Doris Day, and there was another one. Who's the other one?
Yes. Oh, it was Peggy Lipton.
Yes.
Was and then it was Doris Day was the next day, and then Tim Conway, and
no fun.
No. I have some Stephen King news.
Oh, do you?
Possibly. Stephen King news?
Yes. Yes, because Game of Thrones is going away. So where do you go for your sort of like fantasy, TV shows? Looks like Hulu is going to be working on bringing Stephen King's Eyes of the Dragon to the screen.
Wow.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
That's his fantasy
What?
novel. What?
It's
Yeah.
Pete.
How did you not read
Nope,
that?
never read it. What are you going to do?
Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know. I
So
don't know.
good. Oh.
Does it
I'm
have
going to come up
puppets?
there.
Does it have puppet
It was
sex
in
scenes?
1984. No, it was
I
published in
swear to God, I've never
1984.
heard
So
of it.
you were
I've
like
never even heard of it.
Eyes of the Dragon.
I figured you would have heard
Wow.
of it, but maybe not have read it. But the fact that
Yeah.
you haven't even heard of it
Oh.
is just
Eyes
mind-boggling.
of the Dragon. Internet intern, go get me a copy.
my
Yeah.
mind has been boggled.
Oh, yeah. And did you read all the Dark Tower stuff?
No. I read
No,
the first
you-
Dark Tower, and I was so turned off by it that it was.
Oh,
it
that's
was,
right. Oh, that's right.
yeah.
You said you didn't.
I'd like
Okay.
to.
But you read
I then went outside and read some Wet Concrete, and
But
that was
you
better.
You read The Stand,
Yes,
though.
I did
You read
very
The Stand,
recently,
right?
actually.
Okay. So this is the interesting little Stephen King imaginative universe is that the king in Eyes of the Dragon, he's got a magician named Flag, Flagg. So we're, again, his whole universe thing coming together. But, it's such a great, like, young adult fantasy adventure book. So much fun.
And it's not a horror at all.
Surprised?
So it's right up your alley,
No.
Pete.
No, not at all. Yeah.
I can handle the truth, Andy. I can face hard things.
But I guess Seth Grahame-Smith is writing the opening episode and serving as showrunner. What does Deadline say? He was the Lego Batman movie.
Ah,
So
that's fun.
Yeah.
I gotta take a step back. You say it's YA. Like, how does this? How is this a replacement for Game of Thrones?
It's got
that was it. That was the end of the.
It's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right.
This is a result of their petition to redo the season. They're like, okay, fine.
You want dragons?
HBO says Hulu will here. Hulu's going to do this. No.
Okay.
Unrelated to that, mostly, but HBO is also doing his Dark Materials. I didn't realize that.
Yes, that looks really good. I'm very excited about that. It's got some great people involved.
Are they doing that as a extended
I guess
series
so.
instead of trying to cram it all into a little film? Oh, okay.
And HBO is doing Watchmen. Are you up to speed on the latest Watchmen trailers? It looks not like what I expected.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. But
Okay.
I have my change.org petition ready for them to remake it if I don't like it.
We're going to go into the petition thing?
That could take too long.
It's
inane.
an interesting discussion. No, it is, because was it 2 days ago that there was the announcement about Robert Pattinson as Batman, and now there's already a petition going to have him replace that? I thought the entitlement of fans is just overwhelming and appalling, and I don't understand it.
This is kind of funny on the heels of our conversation about For Whom the Bell Tolls, because as we learned in that the research for that show, there was a lot of people who felt they wanted to get involved in the casting because Hemingway kind of had his picks, but people were writing in from all over the country about who they thought should play Maria in that. So, I mean, it's interesting that this has been going on so long. It's turned into something so different now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, back in the 80s when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, everybody's like, why would you cast the funny guy as Bruce Wayne? This is insane. This is going to be horrible. And
And he was amazing.
He was a great Batman.
He
was a great
Batman. You
Batman.
do this casting against type thing, and sometimes it really works. Sometimes it fails, but the fact that people feel that they have the right to have some say in this, to try to bully studios and networks around to, you have to do it our way.
Yeah.
No, trust them. They're professionals.
And you know what? Even if
You
they
may not
screw
like
it
it,
up,
and you
let
don't
them
watch it.
screw it up.
Yeah.
Don't enjoy
Sure.
it. I absolutely support your efforts not to like this Batman. Go watch another Batman.
That's right.
These comments, I'm looking at the comments on the replace Robert Pattinson as the new Batman, and they're all terrible. They are the worst of the internet, and they make change.org a bad place. So don't go there. 444 now in the last 3 seconds. 6 people have actually signed it. It keeps growing, right? And it's growing right now. All they want to do is get to 500. That's his whole goal, is that 500 people there at 449. Don't sign pointless. It's terrible. Go watch something else. It makes me crazy that the internet has created a lever that fans can pull with this kind of hate and rage as a response to a creative outlet. Like, this is not, that creativity is not designed to be this kind of participatory enabled democracy. It's just not. It's not how it works.
Yeah, it's art. I mean, I know there's an argument that it's not. It costs money. They have to make money to pay it off and stuff. But still, people are putting creative decisions into it that are decisions that they have made, right or wrong, are part of how they want that story to be told. It's just baloney. Like, I mean, people are going to start getting up in arms with, Stephen King when he writes a book. It's like, this isn't how it should end. Yeah. Rewrite The Dark Tower, book 8. It's just so dumb.
Well, it's the assumption that they have that much influence, because I saw the Game of Thrones, they were shooting for like 500,000. And then the article I was reading, they said, 40-something million people watched the episode last week. And I thought, 40 million, half a million. Are those half a million? That doesn't outweigh the 40 million. If it was 25 million people that signed that petition, HBO might say, oh, well, maybe we made a bad choice. I don't think they're going to go remake it. But this expectation that your voice is going to exert some influence over, a private industry there. I mean, that's the economic argument, and nobody at HBO cares. It might make them help decide what next property that they're going to make. It will influence decisions that they make going forward, but not about your beloved property. That's over. Stop watching. Go put your eyeballs somewhere else. I think the problem. This article I shared over on Discord on Mashable, which is the how the game, the choose your own ending generation fan petitions have gone too far, which, spoiler, I agree with wholeheartedly. That it outlined a couple of properties where the publishers actually did change things. Right, where and I think it was Mass Effect was one where the fans hated the ending so much that they went back and changed it, and rewrote canon effectively. Now, I never played through the end of Mass Effect because I stopped liking the series, and so I moved on to something else, living by my own creed. And so I don't know how Mass Effect 3 ended. Apparently it was hated. Here it is. Instead of telling fans to lump it or create their own modded versions, in 2013, developer BioWare quieted the mob by bringing out a new ending. Now, their argument is video games are different than movies or TV shows, that players do have some influence on ending, on the endings of these properties, and that is the point of video games. And what they ended up doing was rewriting a cutscene, apparently, or something, this new content at the end. I don't even know that I necessarily agree with that, but some of these, great big sprawling universes with heavily dramatic cutscene storylines are, I guess there can be a case made, maybe, but even that feels like a stretch to me. So it's very frustrating. I just watch it or don't. And I should say, exactly.
I love getting fired up about things that I don't like. Like, why else would we have started a podcast? Like, go start a podcast, people.
Wait! But you started a podcast called Movies We Like, not Movies We Hate and Want to Rant
But
about.
We changed that when we found a movie we wanted to rant about, Steve. Don't you remember?
Yes, I guess I do.
It's very frustrating.
It is.
Oh yeah.
People lost their damn minds.
Yeah.
Do we have any other news?
All right.
Or are we going to jump into trailers?
I don't have any news.
I don't think I have anything else.
All right, so then I have a question to pose to the board. Is there a corollary to A24 that is the Kino Lorber corollary?
Well, I was torn.
Or the the non-Netflix rule, since you both have Netflix.
Oh, that's
trailers.
true.
Well,
That's true.
And I would say mine doesn't have a trailer warning ahead, but mine is close to a red band. Certainly a lot of swearing in my trailer.
Yes.
There is.
Is there?
Did I
watch the right trailer?
trailer?
Maybe I've just been. Maybe it's just because watching the Happy Time Murders.
That's right.
Yeah, he's totally numb.
I don't know.
No, go ahead, Steve. Take it. Lead us on.
Oh, okay.
We're calling the Kino Lorber the sub factor.
Sure. It has an A24 feel to it, I guess.
It's who buys A24 when A24 doesn't feel like picking it up.
That's exactly what happened. Second string.
They're like, this is a little too weird for even
A24.
us. Take it away.
Oh, okay. This is The Mountain. It's the story of a young man who, after losing his mother, goes to work with a doctor specializing in lobotomies and therapies. And there was just something about the style of this trailer that caught my eye with this one. It's just a very quiet, calming, just the cinematography of shot, just so many beautiful images in this trailer. And you've got, Ty Sheridan and Jeff Goldblum in this, plus Udo. Who doesn't love some Udo in their movies? So it got my attention, and I'd never heard of this director before, Rick Alverson. So I did a little digging to see, the look of this film looks like something that I may have seen something of his before and not remembered it, but no, I have not seen any of his work. But apparently, according to Wikipedia, his films have been characterized by their departure from traditional 3-act structure and that they are confrontational in nature. So I'm very much intrigued, and I think he has worked with Ty Sheridan before on a film called I think it's The Comedian. I think is that, or The Entertainer. I can't remember. All his films have like one-word titles with this one, but I'm really intrigued by this because it's a look at America in the 50s, and apparently it's based on actual sort of. It's a fictionalized version of the guy who sort of invented the lobotomy. So I'm interested to see what this story has to say about either the mental health industry or America or identity, because it seems like Ty Sheridan's character is on this journey and has lots of questions about what happens to people when we change them. If the lobotomy, changes a person's personality, then are they the same person, and what happens to the person that they were before? So exploring those questions is something that I love seeing in films. So that's what I'm bringing. It's hitting theaters July 26th. I don't imagine this one getting a wide release, but if it's out, it may be one that I want to see on the big screen just because it looks like it has some really gorgeous cinematography. How'd you guys feel about this one?
The 1.33 to 1 aspect ratio certainly caught my eye, because that's not something you see anymore. And so filming a project in kind of just that TV scope was instantly kind of just piqued my curiosity. And the whole thing kind of has this washed out feel to it. It looks interesting. I mean, I'll be honest. I know we're poking fun, but it does look like an interesting story. It looks like an interesting direction. And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Jeff Goldblum in anything is pretty great. So, and it's just in time for potentially my birthday marathon. So maybe if it actually gets a theater release close, maybe I will check it out.
I just love that Goldblum is reprising his Thor Ragnarok character again so soon after the release of that film. I too noticed the aspect ratio first. Just let it be known that I'm a big aspect ratio guy. And I always like to say what Andy says.
It'll be on your tombstone.
That's right. The aspect ratio
He was
guy.
a big aspect ratio guy.
This is one of those movies where I saw the trailer, I watched the trailer, and I thought, I'm not going to see this movie. And then I realized invariably I will see this movie probably after you guys see it and tell me what a mistake I made for not seeing it in the theater. And I'll probably like it. It's kind of horrifying. I do love the photography angle that looks like is peeking out of the story, and some of the stills that it captures, that you see just kind of captured of everybody standing around these bodies during therapy. I thought was just horrifying and compelling. And I'll probably end up waiting to see if they do a director's cut or a fan voted recut that's actually in 16:9.
So instead of being patient 0, you'll be patient like 2,497.
Patient N.
This looks like an unofficial sequel to The Master.
Yeah, that's right. It has that feel. That's another one.
That look and feel.
Yes, that is another one. Yeah. When did you
got a 5.6 on the IMDb star rating right now, though?
It's out of 290. And I get, this is one that I think it's going to be polarizing. Either it's your type of movie or you're going to hate this type of thing. July 26th. Yeah, right there for Andy's birthday. Cool. There we go. All right.
Okay.
You Netflix nerds.
Okay. Andy, do you want to go
do you
first?
Want me to go?
Sure.
I'm going to go. I'm really excited about mine. It is Always Be My Maybe. Directed by Nahnatchka Khan. And it just looks like, I mean, it's a rom-com. It just doesn't feel like it's anything too unique or special, but it's made it's a central cast of a couple of Asians, and we're looking at it. It's like giving us a nice look into just another world. And I like that it's doing something a little different, and I just am very excited about it. And the cast looks great. I just love these two at the center of it, Ali Wong and Randall Park, who both look great as the foundational characters of our rom-com. Again, it feels very much like the sort of rom-com that we'd probably seen a million times. But I don't know. I just love the vibe of these two characters. And especially, I mean, I was sold instantly on watching this as soon as we kind of have the little montage in the trailer of the two characters kind of getting back together and reconnecting and all that. And they're looking at a statue and he touches the statue's nipple. That made me laugh so hard. I'm like, okay, this 100% just won me over. I'm so excited to see this movie because it clearly is in my mindset. Like everything that's going on here that Marcus is doing, I'm like, this is me. I am totally this guy. I loved that. And then you get the nice surprise at the end when Keanu Reeves pops up. I'm like, this looks great. I had a great time watching this trailer. I'm really excited to see what Nahnatchka does with it. So what did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it looks okay. I don't know. I agree. It has some laughs, and I went through a whole like rom-com phase, and I don't want to say I've become like bitter and jaded. It's just I don't know. It's got to do something fresh, and this has that potential. I will check it out on Netflix in hopes that it's doing something fresh. But I think like in the 90s, it just like, I don't know, like Matthew McConaughey killed the rom-coms in the 90s or early 2000s.
You're blaming it all on him. Wow.
Yeah, there were so many bad ones. So I hope this is part of a resurgence and a reinvention of that genre, because I there are some that are truly great. We'll see if this one gets there. But it's hitting it's giving me everything that I expect, which is good. I'm looking for how it's going to be fresh. That's
and I totally get that. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I feel the same. But yeah, again, when I see a character acting like I probably would, I'm like, okay, I can connect to this on that level, and I'll be totally fine if it's the same old.
Even if it's the same old, the character touched the nipple. Yeah, no, that was it. Yeah, I'm actually really.
I just can't wait to.
I'm really surprised to hear
see
Steve
Andy
not resonate as much as I expected him to with this movie, because I think the original title was "Dear Steve Sarmento, Always Be My Maybe," and they just had to shorten it. It's like written for him and his kind of jam. The thing that was I found a little bit frustrating is when I have my little saved search in my bookmarks bar, and I hit, and it's the official trailer save search for the year, and only trailers that were released in the last week. And the first trailer for this, the the SEO optimized title was Always Be My Maybe trailer 2019 Keanu Reeves Netflix. And the next one after that, Always Be My Maybe official trailer Keanu Reeves comedy movie HD. And then Always Be My Maybe trailer Netflix. Like Netflix has been SEO optimized in favor of Joe Blow movie trailers and One Media. And I think that's frustrating because I would have enjoyed this trailer more on first watch had I not thought it was a Keanu Reeves, rom-com. And I originally found myself so frustrated by the fact that I was betrayed that Keanu was a stunt cast in this movie that I had to go. When I watched it again this morning, I got exactly what you're getting out of it, Andy. I totally get it. But I was frustrated because I thought this is a crappy movie that they put Keanu in because he's hot, hot right now and forever. And so they needed that name in there, and that was how they were going to lift it to the top. I was annoyed by that at first. That's dumb, SEO people. That was dumb and mean.
It is one of those things, and it does feel a little bit like stunt casting. But at the same time, like, have you seen like statistics lately about like people have been tweeting about it, how all these big Hollywood actors, like how many films have they been in directed by women? Tom Cruise, 0.
Yeah.
They're all in the zeros and ones. And then Keanu Reeves, 13. And, just the fact that he's popping up in films like this. And it's not going to be a big film. Nahnatchka Khan certainly has a career so far in Hollywood, more in kind of the TV projects that she's been involved in, Fresh Off the Boat, Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, things like that. But, this is only her second film, or her first film project that she's done. But still, the fact that Keanu's jumping into these things, I mean, I love that he's doing that. And sure, if it helps market, whatever. I love the fact that that is getting out there, and it's maybe it's getting more buzz because of that, and maybe it'll get more viewers.
I love his part in the trailer. I mean, what we see of him is awesome. Don't get me wrong. And I think between the three of us, we're going to help push this into the opening weekend 3 Comma Club. One bill. Here we go.
Indeed. Well, this one is it's going to be on Netflix, as we said, but it is also going to have a theatrical release here in the States, at least, starting May 31st.
Awesome.
There you go.
Can't wait. Mm-hmm.
All right. What's yours, Pete?
I don't have any information. No. This is one of those I don't remember. It's a Netflix film. It is called Layla. It is a Hindi language film coming to Netflix. It's coming under the International TV Shows thing category in Netflix. And that makes me worry that it's not in IMDb anywhere. I can't find it. I'm
looking at it on IMDb.
You are? I could not find it. Send me the link.
I'm sending it right now.
Because I don't know anything about it. All I know is I was really compelled by this, by the trailer. I thought it was, it was, nuts, you guys. It is a TV series.
It is.
But it only says 1 episode. So I don't know if it's a series that's only 1 episode.
Well, IMDb has not been updated because it still just has it in development. So
okay. Well, I don't know anything about it. This might be a TV series, and I blame it on the fact that I just didn't pay attention in Hindi language class in middle school. I also never took Hindi language class in middle school. I regret that I say that, but you should watch the trailer because I think it looks really great. I think it looks like it's the story of dystopian future, and a woman searches for the daughter she lost years ago, and it is an interesting and compelling universe that they're at least the visual universe that they're portraying in this thing is one that I'm really interested in checking out, and so I hope it's a movie. Please be a movie, so that this pick actually counts this week, and history will remember me as somebody who actually was able to do the work and do it right.
Six episodes.
As we said, John Wick is 3 parts but one movie.
Okay. All right.
So this is 6 episodes, one big story.
There you go.
Based on a
There
novel.
you
As long
go.
as you
Adapted
watch
from
them
a novel
together, don't make any
all
plans.
at once.
Yeah, the don't make
Right.
any plans Layla on Netflix series.
Right.
The other
It's
thing
the
that I
binge.
like, the other thing I like about it so much is that it is it's percolating up in my search results, and usually these new international like foreign language trailers, I have to search for them, and this one was an easy one to pop up in things that Netflix is clearly pushing right now, and I like that. I really like that. It feels like I don't know. That feels like a shift for me because believe me, my search results should be all swearing puppets and superheroes, and this actually struck me as something different and fun. So.
I think it looks cool. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I mean, TV show or movie, either way, however you slice it, it looks like a compelling kind of dystopian future sci-fi story, and I'm all in. Looks like a great sort of thing to catch on Netflix. So I'm excited.
It reminds me of if you sort of mash together Children of Men and Handmaid's Tale together, which I love both of those things, and it's dystopian, but still rooted in the real world, not so like sci-fi dystopian. So this is like, you can project 10 years in the future and like, are we at this point pretty easily? So yeah, I'm very intrigued by what this story is about, and it's something that I will definitely be checking out on Netflix. Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Well, I don't know when it's coming. I don't know anything else.
June 14th. June 14th. All 6 episodes go live on Netflix.
You know what I like so much is that really I just show up and Andy does all the work. This is the history of this podcast. I think it actually
said at the end of your trailer if you were watching it.
As I said, June 14th, all 6 episodes. And in fact, it does. He's absolutely right because he can read and I cannot.
Yeah.
I got to the logo screen and I was like, got it.
That's right.
I'm done.
So funny.
Okay. All right. Well, enough out of that. Let's do the list.
Let's do it. So this week we talk about For Whom the Bell Tolls, the 1943 Sam Wood adaptation of Hemingway's novel. And we put the list up, and of course we were cheeky and gave everybody the option, hey, how about, movies with bells tolling in them? And of course, it was a runaway train everybody jumped onto. So we're here to talk about movies in which bells toll.
This was tough. This was tough in the beginning. And it was really important to find a way in to this topic. And I tell you, I struggled. I hope I'm not giving anything away, but there was one point where it was so dark in my research that I thought, has Kristen Bell been in any terrible movies? Like, maybe it's just Kristen Bell has taken a toll.
She drives through a toll booth?
Or how about,
I was going to say,
she drives through a toll booth.
Or Gloria, you got Gloria Bell was the other thing that just kind of subsumed everything. I thought, Julianne Moore pays a toll in this
right,
Gloria Bell movie. So Bell is tolling, or Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell, or at one point
lived.
I went to Lake Bell, who I'm quite a fan of, and to see if she had any tolls involved. But anyhow, I think the Kino Lorber corollary is in play, and thus Steve is first.
As I thought about this list, I said, I remember this scene with this bell. I don't know what movie that is. And my search gave me no help at all. I'm like, I know I've seen these. So I'm going into categories of things like, where are like bell towers? Where is all of that? Was not helping me at all. So I cobbled together something so that we'll see where we go. But I'm going to start with a relatively recent film that is more of a kid's film, but one that I really enjoyed and had a lot of fun with, and it's based on a book. And if my kids were younger, it's probably something we would read through the series. But I'm talking about The House with the Clock in Its Walls. And throughout that story in the film, you'll see there's a bell that tolls, and it's counting down to something. It's some apocalyptic climactic event. So there are several points where in the film where all of a sudden there will be just a bong of a bell tolling numerous times. That's my first one. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. It is a lot of fun for the family.
I have not.
That's one the kids
it.
were really excited about, and we never made it to the theaters. And I need to pick it up at the library or something so we can check it out, because I am very curious, especially because Eli Roth directed that.
Yeah, and you got Jack Black and Cate Blanchett, and it's just I mean it's fun. It's not a lasting one that I don't think we would come back to a lot, but it was refreshingly new, I thought.
Yeah.
Right.
For my first one, I think I may take the win for the most bells tolling in any of the films we're going to be talking about, because whatever their pitch, you can feel them bewitching you. The rich and the ritual knells of the bells of Notre Dame. I'm talking about the 1996 animated The Hunchback of Notre Dame. There are so many bells ringing in this because it's about a bell ringer, and he rings the bells a good number of times throughout the film. And in light of the tragedy of Notre Dame this year, I felt like I really should put this one on the list. Plus, I love this movie. I know a lot of people aren't that keen on it. And yes, it has some real problems with the gargoyle characters in the film, but it has some serious dark stuff going on in the film. I love this film. I think the music is fantastic. That's my first pick, 1996, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's a good pick, and it's so good, in fact, that it's a steal.
That's why I had to get it out first.
Yeah, that was the race to Hunchback. Steve, is there a chance that this was on your list?
No, because I haven't seen that one.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch. Just be wary that you got to get through the gargoyles, annoying characters, but outside of them, there's some really strong moments in it. Some of the most beautiful imagery, I think, in any of the Disney animated films. Certainly one that might have warranted a stronger rating.
Yeah, I remember there was something about who's the female character?
Demi Moore playing the gypsy Esmeralda.
Yeah, and there's some weird, sexy, creepy thing going on with her. So yeah,
it's more a figment of Judge Claude Frollo's imagination of her image rising up out of the flames in his fire. And
God, that was unbelievable.
Her image offended people, and they because she looked naked, and so they had to go back in and reanimate her to make it very clear that she was wearing clothes. Her flame figure.
Her flame figure is clothed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I can do this. I can do hard things. Since you took The Hunchback, I will open the bidding with a movie that I find, if I am in the right mood, it's a 5-star and a heart, and otherwise it's 4-star and a heart. I am opening with I think you've still got lightning in you. The final kiss on the bell tower in Moonrise Kingdom, in the middle of the storm, and all of the weird Wes Anderson-y things that are going on in this movie all come to a head right at the end of this movie as the bell strike on the bell tower in the storm, and I am here for it. Moonrise Kingdom. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a steal.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah.
I don't remember that movie well enough. I remember I was kind of losing steam on Wes Anderson. And then I watched that one and I go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite, but I think he's on track still. But I don't remember that scene. I need to rewatch that one.
You should rewatch that one.
Yes. That one's a lot of fun.
It is, to me, it's redemptive of Wes Anderson in some areas where I was, and I'm kind of a guy who generally likes Wes Anderson, but there are some things that I really, really don't. And this one was redemptive for me. So that's it. That's my number 3. That's my entry into the bells.
Okay. Nice.
Into the bells.
That's a good start. Yeah. Good start. Since you stole one,
I feel good about it. Feel so good about that.
Shift.
Yes.
Shuffle.
So, okay, this is one. Yeah, I think this was I remembered something and I searched and I'm like, well, this might be it because there's a bell here. The bell is ringing because there's all this fighting going on around it in Quantum of Solace.
Oh,
which I've seen once, maybe twice. But it's again not a movie I have strong memories of. But I was like, oh yeah, I think that may be that vague image I have in my head. Finding that clip on YouTube as I'm searching for scenes with bells. That one showed up, and I thought, okay, it's not the greatest Bond film, but we do have a big fight in a clock tower, bell tower.
I really enjoy that Bond film. I know a lot of people dismiss it, but I think it's a great one. So
I do too. I actually, it's not the remake of Casino Royale for me, but I do enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice bell tower.
Yep. All right. For my next choice, I am looking at a really, really fantastic horror film, 1976's The Omen. This is Richard Donner's wonderfully creepy film written by David Seltzer, and it has a wonderfully scary scene where we have our characters bringing their child to church, and as they're walking closer, the church bells are ringing, are tolling, and as they get closer and closer, little Damien begins panicking, and the closer they get and the deeper and slower the bells ring, it just becomes, so terrifying that he just can't handle it. So a good sign of tolling and a clear sign that he is the devil, if only everyone paid attention. That is my second choice, The Omen.
Not a steal.
Not a steal, but I do have to ask, did you get your list from the website bellhistorians.org.uk? Because they have 3 movies listed on their movies with church bells. One is The Omen. One is your 1996 Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm waiting to see what your third pick is. Because apparently the British bell historians are right there with you on movies with church bells.
I will say I did look on that site, but not until I had already built a list.
Okay.
It was a fresh reminder of The Omen because it was not on my list until I did look at their page. I'm like, oh, of course. So, but no, Hunchback instantly came to my mind. So I can't give them credit for that one.
Okay.
All right. My number 2, in an otherwise letdown of a movie, this particular scene is one that gave me hope for a potential future. That hope is, I think it's still out there somewhere. It is the bell tower scene in Spider-Man 3. This is when Eddie Brock gets the Venom suit, and this was the first time I thought, okay, maybe we're going to get some Venom love and have it done right. Now, a lot of years have passed. but I just keep sort of conjuring up that initial feeling when Eddie Brock I was excited when Eddie Brock was in that movie. There was a lot to be that I just didn't truck with that movie, and the movie has not done well in hindsight, but it does have a scene that I call a scene of hope in that bell tower that one day we still might get a fantastic, truly fantastic treatment of Venom someday.
I liked the Venom the new one. I thought it was fine. I think people are.
That's the issue.
It
was fine. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fun.
It wasn't amazing.
I don't like the character Venom. I thought they did as good as they'll ever do.
Well, here's the problem. I don't think Venom is a standalone movie. I think Venom, we need a treatment of the character in a way that he has something to play off of. And that's the thing that's so frustrating. And that's the thing that I was hopeful all the way back in Spider-Man 3 that someday we would get a Venom as a foil to Spider-Man at all. And I'm waiting. I stand waiting. Spider-Man 3.
Well, here's the thing. They've done the Venom movie now, and it's in the Sony Spider-Man universe. So it's entirely possible that they will build to a Venom Spider-Man film at some point once they've established those characters more strongly.
I stand waiting.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, Steve.
Okay. Well, I'm down to 2 and 1. I can't confirm that there's actually a bell in it, so I'm going to go with the one that I can confirm.
The presence of bells in Steve's final choice.
Well, there's a clock, and normally there's a bell when a certain hour hits that the bell will ring. But it's been a while since I've seen the movie, and the clips that I found online, it hits that hour and the bell isn't ringing, so I can't confirm. So I'm going with something I mentioned earlier today, going back to Tim Burton's Batman, and we have the big bell
Crap.
there at the end with the Joker and the bell and the thing. So none of these none of these are like fabulous recommendations, but
that one is,
hey,
Steve,
fans,
you
listeners,
shut your mouth.
Nothing that I'm saying you need to watch immediately, but if you are really driven, as you listeners asked for, movies with bells tolling, this is what you're getting. It's been a long time since I've seen it. It's I don't know that it holds up.
Oh,
that
it does.
well.
Don't worry about it.
It's been a long time since I've seen it.
I'm
Nobody should
rewatching
listen
it this
to
weekend, actually. Don't
listen
let you
to
know.
him. This is a fantastic fight scene at the end with Joker dancing with Vicky Vale and with the music is incredible while the goons are doing incredibly stupid things, and pretty much Batman gets to just stand there. This is a fantastic sequence, and you are way underplaying it, and you don't even deserve to have stolen this from me.
Okay.
Was it on your list too, Andy?
It was not on my list.
Okay.
Not a steal.
Of
not a steal from me.
anything that we talk about, that should have been the double steal of the day. I am sorry, Batman.
I knew it took place in a clock tower, but like you, Steve, I'm like, is there a bell tolling? I can't recall, so I didn't go with that one.
In Batman?
Yeah.
There's a bell tolling on a goon's face.
Yes.
Okay.
The bell literally tolls his face. It's amazing.
I said, I don't remember. I'm going to rewatch it this weekend, so I'll.
You know what? You don't even deserve to watch it. Don't watch it. Intern, go to Andy's house. Take his copy.
Take it away.
Take his copy.
Wow. So mean.
And don't let him listen to Bat Dance ever again.
Wow. After all the work you do for him, and he just takes that away from you.
Right.
I'm sorry. Look at this. Change.org. Don't ever let Andy listen to the Batman soundtrack. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead. Publish.
How many are you trying to
Are
get?
you talking about the Danny Elfman Batman, or are
one.
you talking about the Prince Batman soundtrack?
I speak of both with great reverence.
Both. Okay. All right.
Doesn't matter. Andy has been cut off from the Tim Burton Batman universe.
That's okay. I've got Batwoman. All right. For my final pick, I am going with one that I am thrilled has not been a steal. It's a absolute classic. I'm glad to include it on the list. It is 1958's Vertigo.
God, for crying out loud.
Alfred Hitchcock. This has such a great story. And at the end of it, of course, it takes place on a clock tower. Up in a church tower. And it, in fact, very much true to the bell tolling reference used for the title of For Whom the Bell Tolls. As soon as the final death happens in the film, it is, in fact, a nun who begins tolling the bell for the death. It was so perfect. I couldn't help but make it required inclusion on my list. So final choice, Vertigo.
Yeah, I avoided that one and Hunchback because I knew both of you had to have those on my list. So I just preemptively said, I know those will get taken. I'm going to have to dig into the backups anyway. No, that's a great pick.
And apparently a steal.
Oh, for crying out loud, you guys. This is both of my number ones have been taken. And
well, that's what happens when we do your job for you.
All this trailer research.
I have. Okay, that's a fair point. I have three. I had three left. The first one is a cathedral, and I don't believe there are any bells in it, but that's really disappointing because I honestly can't remember. So I'm just going to ask, do you guys remember any bells actually tolling at any point in Hot Fuzz?
Where's Nick Langdon when we need him?
Well, I know.
I don't recall.
My question is, does the bell...
They were meeting at the clock tower, and then the spire gets knocked down on the guy, but I can't remember if the bell's actually ringing.
That's what I am waiting for. That was on my backup list. Does a bell toll for young Tim Messenger? That is my question, because I can't remember if the sound is associated with that. Either way, see Hot Fuzz, because it's Hot Fuzz. That would be my number. If there's a bell tolling in that one, that would be my number one. The other one that is a lock for an actual bell tower is in Inferno, but it's also Inferno, so you're never going to see it.
So it's like, why include that?
There's literally a bell tower chase in Inferno, and you know what? Find it on YouTube. So. If there is no bell tower in Hot Fuzz and it's only the cathedral and there are no bells ringing, then don't worry, you've already seen Inferno. I mean, you haven't seen it, but you've seen it.
Watch the trailer. That's all you need to watch for that one. That's pretty terrible. Go ahead.
I had one more on my very backup list since you guys stole both of them, but that was, did you know that the Leaning Tower of Pisa is actually a bell tower? Did you know that?
No.
Yes, it is a campanile. And in fact, that added one more movie to my list, which is Superman 3, because he straightens and then unstraightens the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So there you go.
Is that?
Thank goodness that got included.
Is that Drunk Batman that does that? I can't remember.
Right. Drunk Batman straightens
Superman.
it. I mean, Drunk Superman.
Superman.
Yes. I forgot. We shall never speak about it.
Superman 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Although Drunk Batman showing up in Superman 3 might have made it better.
Yes.
Oy.
So the one that I couldn't recall, well, there were two, but one I was referring to is The Quick and the Dead, because we've got all these shootouts at like high noon and these other times. And I thought it's got to ring, but all the clips, it's like you see the minute hand go and then they're drawing and shooting. There's no bell ringing. And then I was trying to remember if in either of like the National Treasure movies, I think in the first one he's in a bell tower at like Independence Hall, but I don't think the bell rings, and so I have bells, but because I haven't seen those movies recently, those were the two other ones that I thought potentially, like I said, like Hot Fuzz, I don't know, but there should be in the background somewhere. But bells tolling really aren't pivotal, plot points that you're going to remember. Like, oh yeah, that really dramatic scene when the bell tolled.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing that I couldn't remember, which I can't believe I can't remember, is Harry Potter, because there are in Hogwarts 2 giant bell towers that are on either side of the greenhouse. And in Prisoner of Azkaban, they completely redesigned the bell towers to make them tall and beautiful. Yeah. And I just can't remember when from that point forward, when the bells actually tolled in the Harry Potter cinematic. I'm sure bells rang at some point. And so that should probably be on there somewhere.
I just sent you a link, Pete. In Hot Fuzz, there is, in fact, the chiming of the bell when it hits 3 o'clock, which incites Nick to run, try to catch the guy. So there is a bell ringing there.
Okay. Hallelujah, because right now Pete's list number one pick is Batman, Vertigo, both stolen. So Hot Fuzz, unless there's no bell in it, in which case Inferno, whatever.
I did have as a backup Guys and Dolls, because aside from there's a whole song, if I Were a Bell, and in fact, while you don't see it at the very end of the song while she's singing, there are bells ringing behind her.
Yeah.
Technically, they're ringing, maybe not tolling, but it doesn't work so well. If I were a bell, I'd be tolling.
Because if it was bells ringing, you could just do the whole opening of Back to the Future with all the alarm clocks striking.
Well, there's
bells,
also the church. There's also the clock tower.
But does the clock tower count? It doesn't bong.
At the very end, it does. At the very end, it does. It's fixed, and because he turns and looks because it rings.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah, I guess. None of us had that on our list.
I was like, I wasn't sure if a clock ringing was strong enough.
My wife actually suggested that, and I said, it's no bell. I need the bell tower. And so, what are we doing this week?
Well, we are looking at George Cukor's 1944 remake of Gaslight. And so what do we want to do?
Well, gaslighting. That seems like a lot of movies with some form of gaslighting in it, right?
Okay.
Some sort of psychological torture. There's one.
Okay. We've got Married to a Murderer.
Yo, that's great.
Oh,
that's a great list, Andy. Oh, no wonder you're in charge.
Sorry if that's a spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched it, who's getting ready to dig in. Hey, you know what? The movie is so old. It's your fault.
It's
It's not mine.
75 years later. Yeah, you should know this.
Oh, let's see what else. And we've got I don't know, Cold Cases.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll.
Man, we should do more movies like this on the show. Those are great.
This was like easy.
Those are easy.
Bang those things out quick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Have you seen this, Steve?
Long time ago. It's been a while, so I have hazy recollections of it. So I am interested in rewatching this again. So, and again, maybe both versions.
Yeah.
But it has been a long time.
Nice. Well, yeah, definitely check it out. I'm glad I revisited. I'm glad I checked out the 1940 version actually before I jump into the remake. So it's well worth it.
It really is. It was a solid film.
And great casting too.
Yeah,
I just
totally.
loved the three leads. I mean, really, just great performances by all of them.
Oh God, Anton Walbrook is diabolical.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
Hey, that was great. That was easy. I barely had to show up.
You kind of didn't.
I'm gonna laugh until I cry.
Wow.
Oh, we love you, Pete.
Oh, thanks, guys. What's first thing you're gonna see when you hang up the show, Andy?
I'm torn. I started the 1944 Gaslight last night, so I'm tempted to jump into that. But I also have a few things to watch with the kids. We're going to watch Batman, as I said, and we are going to watch X-Men. So I don't know what I'm going to be watching first, but one of those.
Steve?
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to hit Amazon Prime for a 1940 Gaslight or John Wick 2. Maybe both at the same time. We will see.
The Benjamin Button John Wick's watch party. I started watching for the very first time The Hangover with my daughter. Let me say, first time for her. Another fantastic parenting moment. And we watched. We got through the first 45 minutes of it, and then we had to stop for other reasons. But it was
You had to stop and finally realized I shouldn't be watching this with my daughter.
Andy, by now you should know. I don't realize that.
Right.
So at some point we're going to have to finish that hopefully sometime today. So
excellent.
If we're talking about what we're watching with family, then my daughter, my youngest, has said that this weekend she's would be willing to sit down and watch Shakespeare in Love with me, because I've been trying to get her to watch it for like the past year and a half, because I think she would really enjoy it. I think they did Romeo and Juliet earlier in the year. She said, I think maybe this weekend I might be ready to watch that. So that may be another one.
I might be ready
this weekend
to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, our kids grow into completely different things.
Yes.
All right. Hey, good time, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Steve and Andy. And thank you, everybody, for downloading, listening to this show. We sure appreciate you supporting us and helping us do what we do. And if you're just listening to this over on patreon.com/thenextreel, but you haven't supported the show, we sure would appreciate if you consider dropping us a few bucks. Support the show. Join us for live streams. Hang out with us over on Discord. And just, sleep well at night knowing that you are doing well for the podcast universe that is The Next Reel. Thanks, everybody.
Hondo.
See ya!